Alright, good morning everybody. I am pleased to announce that Brad Forbes will be sharing with us today. He has served as the president of AdventSource since 1989, helping the company to grow from a Pathfinder-focused organization to a global ministry. As a graduate of Union College, he has a degree in business management, and he was also a missionary kid in Malawi, Africa, when he was younger. Because of that, his global perspective has been shaped, and so has his ministry work. Please join me in welcoming Brad Forbes.
Thank you. Well, good morning. You know, I'm having really great memories of this floor. And the room didn't look quite like this, but it was the same great group of people. So it's a privilege for me to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you about AdventSource, although I could share with you all the list of mistakes that I've made over the years that I've been there. But I want to talk to you about an issue that, or something that's happening that you're aware of, and I want to talk about what I believe are some of the ramifications that you as students and us that have already graduated, right, Melanie, have got to address. So, when I was a kid, and some of you did this too, we played hide and seek. And you know, the person counted down from 100, and then they said, ready or not, here I come. And it didn't matter how well you had hidden, they came to find you. Well, this is what's happening with AI right now. Okay, there isn't a, well, we're not ready for that. We haven't learned it. We haven't taken 3 classes in college. AI is coming at us, whether we're ready or not. So I want to get you a little bit engaged here. So if you have used ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini, raise your hand. I could have asked who had not, but I don't want to call anyone out. All right, so there's a whole new infrastructure that's developing right now, and it's changing everything. So we had electricity, and that changed industry. Right after I graduated from here, the internet came along, okay? And that changed communication. I mean, it changed the world. It changed our business world. And then smartphones came along. So I've lived through internet. I'm barely getting into the smartphone thing yet. There's still lots to learn there. But now AI is coming. And you, as students now, as voters, as leaders in business and in industry and in policy making, are going to have the opportunity to help us shape how AI shapes our world. All right, so I can't leave you seated, so everyone stand up. Everyone stand up. All right, this is not a quiz. This is just checking to see where you are on the subject of AI, all right? And since I'm in front here, I get the opportunity to make the rules, right? So the answer is binary. It's either yes or no. There's no in-betweens. So the first question is, how concerned are you about the risk of AI? If you are extremely concerned, you will go this way. If you are not concerned at all, you will go this way, all right? Split, no one in the middle. You've got to go one way or the other. And be prepared to defend your choice.
That's crazy. What a tie.
Okay. Extremely concerned. Not concerned at all. Excellent. Okay. Listen up. Who in this wants to tell me why you're not concerned?
Jacob does.
Who?
I do, because I use it for so many things already that it always just helps me. I mean, I feel like it has never hurt me or done, anything wrong, negative to me, so.
Okay, so who on this side that's very concerned wants to tell Jacob why he's wrong? Why are you very concerned?
I'm I'm ready to jump out the window. That's how far I'm going to say.
Come to her presentation later on today and she'll tell you why, lawyer.
My concern is that it is so easy to access and think that you have an answer and think you have a solution. And it's a computer telling you what to think, what to do, and it may seem helpful. You don't see the dangers because it doesn't.
Okay. Anyone else on the concern?
I was going to say, Jacob, are you using your brain?
Oh, okay. We got a response to that?
After that, though, if you give it parameters, it can really help. Because I use it every single day for AI. So if I'm programming, I don't just go talk to people do this. I tell them, hey, do this, do that, do that.
Okay. Stay where you are here. We've got another one. How likely do you think that AI will improve efficiency and productivity in our economy? Extremely likely, not likely at all. All right.
Productivity? In what way?
Efficiency and productivity in our economy. In our economy. Okay. Who's going to tell me on this side? Why did you say that it is going to? Yep.
Cuts out busy work for a lot of things. If you need to spell check an email, summarize something, it can help cut out a lot of busy work. Organize data and stuff. It's great at cutting out.
Okay, someone else got something on this side? Why do you think? Why do you think it's going to make a difference? You all went to this side. Why is it going to make a difference?
It makes life easier. Instead of spending 10 hours doing research or something, just like, hey, can you just do this for me? And gives you one package you need.
Matthew Russell, our IT director at Advent Source. Why is it going to make us easier, things easier?
It has an extremely powerful tool, and I think the fear right now is people don't fully understand it as a society and sort of grappling with where it fits in. But once we figure out how to put boundaries on it, how to utilize it properly, it's going to cut out a lot of busy work. I thought that was
Yeah. So go ahead.
NVIDIA's CEO talk about how he said if his engineers aren't utilizing it, they might be fired because it's like an architect not using it.
So Matthew should be doing this presentation here. So, okay, thank you, Matthew. Okay, I'm going to keep asking you questions here. AI will be essential to America's economic competitiveness. Strongly agree. It will be essential to our competitiveness.
Competitiveness in what areas? All areas?
To America's economic competitiveness. So, does someone want to tell me why it's going to be essential?
I think it'll be essential because other countries are going to be using it, and if we don't learn how to use it too, then we'll fall behind.
All right. I've got to get some of you to move here. Do you favor or oppose the government taking actions to regulate the development of AI? If you oppose the government taking actions, go to this side. If you favor government regulation in AI, go to this side. Oh. All these business students, professors, all these business students want for the government to get involved in regulation. Oh, some people are thinking about it.
Can't we just self-regulate?
Well, can you? All right. So I'm gonna get, if we can listen up now, I'm gonna get some people moved here. So why do you oppose regulation?
So when AI prompts first started, they were sent out to the market for people to use freely. You can put in your information in there and get resources back. I feel like if it was regulated by the government, that freedom that you go to AI to use to help as a tool is restricted and or decreased or demoralized.
Okay. Who wants to tell me, someone who hasn't spoken yet, who wants to tell me why you think that government should regulate AI?
Well, can AI take over? I mean, if you don't have any regulations on
I don't know, you tell me. Why do you want for government to regulate?
I don't know if I do.
Yes, sir.
I think that we are currently seeing the problems of this kind of problem even with social media. And we are seeing the edge of this now where governments are finding that it is causing a lot of problems and individual regulation isn't working, and they feel that the government is going to have to take a position. We are killing ourselves because of our preoccupations.
All right, very good. Who else wants to tell me? Ladies, why did you stay on this side?
See now what you think?
Because it can't be in the middle.
Yes, why do you think the government should be involved?
I think there needs to be some regulations, like at some point.
So there needs to be some appropriate boundaries that your elected officials, who you trust fully, will tell you what are. Okay, go ahead and sit down where you are. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to read through these, but you should know this, but just in case you don't know, we're in the middle of a huge ramp up for AI. Whether you think we should be doing it or not, AI is coming. Whether you're ready or not, it's coming. So in the last year, 10 percentage points jump in overall use, okay, are nearly doubled here. Down here, where did I say here? 78% of businesses, of enterprises, are investing in AI. Oh, I got the same thing here. Okay, 90% of AI models were developed. 90% were developed in the last 2 years. Okay, for AI, and for those of you that game, 700% or 700% of the 1 in 5 new games released are using AI. So the chance people have figured out that AI is a great way to game you by figuring out what it is that you do. So I would say to you as students, and for those of you that aren't students anymore, is that the question isn't, will AI impact business? The question is, who will it elevate? Who will it replace? Okay, and who will learn to lead with it? I was watching a little YouTube clip about AI prepping this, and the guy was going on and on about how AI was going to allow for him to work less and to do so much more, and I don't agree with that, because I believe that businesses aren't going to say, hey, we've got AI, that's great, let's work half as much. Okay, what's going to happen is they're going to say, how can we scale this so we can get twice as much done? So what does that mean for you? So I'm going to propose to you that AI will not replace ambitious, adaptable, and strategic thinkers. Okay, and for you students, I believe that that's why you're here. AI will point out complacency. Okay, so average performers are going to get automated. If you're a strategic thinker, AI is going to amplify the presence that you have in your workforce. So the winners in the next decade aren't going to be those that know the most. In my generation and the previous generation, the people that knew the most oftentimes were the winners, because I knew more than you, so I could make better decisions than you. This really levels the playing field to say the winners are going to be the people who ask the best questions, because there are answers out there, you just have to ask the right questions. who design or use AI to design the smartest workflows. They're going to combine human judgment with machine intelligence. Okay, so there isn't a just give it over to AI. There's going to be human judgment. And I think lastly, the thing that's so important is that we've got to figure out a way to lead ethically in the systems as they scale up faster than they can be regulated. Okay, so when I asked earlier the question, do you think that government should regulate this? You know, my big question about that is, so what has the government done in the last 18 months that's made any difference? The government moves slowly. AI is moving faster than any regulation can happen. AI's moving faster than any of your teachers can stay ahead of. Okay, so they're going to be teaching you to ask good questions, okay, and to use your judgment and to act ethically. So a lot of people say, well, AI's here to take away jobs. And I don't think that's true. I think that you're not competing with AI, you're competing with people who know how to use AI better than you. So the new landscape says that right now, and every one of you raised your hand that said you used AI, okay, now are you using it as a shortcut? Okay, you didn't do your homework until the night before, and so you're just using AI to get it done? Okay, are you using it as a shortcut? Or are you treating it as a force multiplier? Okay, are you bringing all of that information that's available to you into what you have and what you want to share? If you're using it as a shortcut, you're developing codependency. Okay, you're dependent on AI. If you use it as a force multiplier, it makes you dangerous in all the right reasons, okay? Because you have the whole world, the information of the world at your fingertips, at your business, for your business, so that you can know what decisions to make. And so it can make you very, very positively dangerous. So here's what I have for you. Ready or not, here AI comes. And the question for you as students, particularly, I want to say is, so what's going to separate you? What's going to separate you from the competition? And that, I believe, is a much bigger question for you as students to have than the question that was put on me and some of my classmates that are here as the internet came along. And we had many of these same questions, but AI has made it exponentially more challenging. All right, so I go really quickly. I don't have lots to say on this subject, although I could tell you that I said to Matthew before, I'll just have him come up and tell us what we're doing at AdventSource. AdventSource has increased our spending in technology and specifically in AI to help us by 400%. Over last year. We think that it's going to allow for us to serve our customers better, and it's going to allow for us to make better decisions. But so I'm ready to take some questions. I don't have any answers, but I'm happy to take your questions about AI or your observations. So what are you thinking about AI right now? I'm gonna look over here first. Anyone? What are you thinking about AI? No one here is thinking about AI. Oh, yes.
I'm curious about the way to evaluate your results. So you put in a query, you set the parameters, you ask something, you get it back, then what? Do you just accept it as being gospel, or is there a process and a system of saying, this is right, this is not right, I need more information here, I need to redo it. I'm curious about that process.
So I told you I don't have any answers, but you're asking the right question, because actually right now you have more information than you used to have at all. Before, what you did is you just went and found in the encyclopedia. Your dad's a teacher, my dad's a preacher. When we went to make our presentations, we would go to the encyclopedia, and we would go to Desire of Ages, and you would open it up. Well, you're doing exactly the same thing here. Instead, you're just getting a whole line of responses, and I think that the questions and where you tell AI to go to find the answers to those questions is going to be really important. We're dealing with that right now with Advent Source. I'll give you a specific use case. So Advent Source delivers Pathfinder materials to the North American division. US, Canada, Bermuda, Guam, and the Micronesian Islands. Pathfinders, while it is a global organization, it has different uniforms, has different requirements, different curriculums in different areas. So as we're developing our agent, our concierge, we are saying, you need to look at this information. We specifically say to it, do not look at the general conference Pathfinder materials, because it's going to give our customers bad information. It's not wrong, it's just not for our customers. Okay, so as we're building this out, that's going to be very important for Tina and her team as they're talking with customers to say, so this is the parameter. So we're building it to say, this is the place you go to look. You don't look at everything. And I think as we become smarter at learning how to set up the query, that's going to help us with that. But great.
I was curious, you didn't really talk about this, but do you distinguish, even like what you do for Advent Source, between generative AI and the rest of AI? Like if you're just trying to sort out how to better give information to your customers, that's a whole different process than write me some materials in the tone of, for teenagers that are Adventists or something.
Yeah, we're using it for both. So I think in many businesses, we're going to end up using AI tools that are business tools that have been created to help us develop models based on the information that we're putting into it. On the other side, so we're trying some stuff. I'll tell you next year whether it worked or not. So we develop Vacation Bible School programs every year. Okay. And in the past, we've hired writers to write the stations for Game Station and Snack Station and Craft Station. Okay, this year we're putting in. We created the Bible story, we created the opening and closing, we created the prayer station, and we're going to have AI create the stations for the Game Station. I mean, they're going to know 10,000 more games than what our writer's going to know. And we're going to say, this is the age group, it's 6 to 9, and this is exactly what we want. And then we're going to edit it, which for us costs less. We actually probably get closer to what we want because we've given AI the opening and closing and said, these are the things to point out. And so next year I'll tell you how it's going. But we used it. Our promotion for Cactusville VBS this year was made. The video was made by AI. We gave it the script, we gave it some graphics, and we said, go for it. Yeah, Matthew. Okay. What? Oh, yeah.
AI is impacting the world of the arts, music, and so on. Will Advent Source use AI-generated artistic
So some of you, were here in the previous presentation by Marcus, where he said, you know, his best friend was his lawyer, and that's what you need to do. So, so in the classroom over here, I think the 308, I took business law. That wonderful class was at 7 a.m. on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay. Yeah, it's a grim story. I remember one thing, and it was the most important thing that I learned, and that was hire a lawyer. Okay? Since Marcus didn't take business, he didn't hear that. Okay? So I think that one of our big challenges and a reason for government to get involved in AI is how are we dealing with intellectual property. Okay, so if I say I want to write a really great mystery book, it's going to be about this young man who went to Africa when he was 3 and grew up there in sub-Saharan Africa, and AI will write me a really great novel, but it's going to be using someone else's intellectual property. You know, because how does it know how to do that? Okay, it's going to be the same thing with music. It's going to be the same thing with the arts. So we're going to have to deal with that. So to answer your question specifically, probably not for music. But we took the music that we had created, we took the graphics that we had created, and we said, make us a video promoting this, including a guy that goes, yee-haw, better than I could ever do it. Okay, good. What else do we have about AI?
I have a question. So how do you, I really struggle with it because I try to use it, and like so many people are like, oh, it saves me so much time and it does all this great stuff. And I've had some wins using it, but a lot of times it's just more frustrating than anything because I put in my prompts and I think I put in the parameters just right of like, I want you to pull from these sources and this is what I'm trying to do. And it populates things and I'm like, well, that wasn't helpful at all. And so how do you learn how to use it smarter so you can use it appropriately? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense. So you and 99% of the rest of the world are in that challenge, and I'm in that world too. Okay, so we're all having to learn how to extract from this really great knowledge base the information we want. Back in the day, so some of you remember this day, some of you have no idea what this day is like. When you went to the library, you went to the card file, okay? And you went through it and you found some things that you could go and pull out. Well, it didn't help us just to walk in the library and say, well, there's got to be something around here. And that's almost the same thing. So you're going to have to develop some specific skills on how to get the information out of there that you want. And they're there. There's people that are teaching and that are keeping up with. So, you know, my best friend there is YouTube. You know, because they're people who are daily practitioners that are into AI up to past their eyeballs, and just ask YouTube to tell you, so how do I do my best prompts? You know, in our world, a lot of times when we're creating a resource, we will give it the pieces of information that we already have. So we have a Pathfinder staff manual that has a little bit about how to be a counselor in it, but we want to have a resource that's just for counselors. So we'll take that and we have an 8-session course on how to be a counselor, and we've got some other resources, and we give that to ChatGPT and say, write me a 10,000 word document that brings all of these things together. I don't want to hear from anything else. I just want to hear from this about how to be a great Pathfinder Club counselor. And it'll give it to you. And then we give it to editorial. They make the changes. We look for the holes in it. And whereas before, what I would do is I would give those same 3 pieces to a writer and say, read all through them and give me something. And unless the writer is Brenda Forbes Dickerson, my cousin, you're only going to get part, because with ChatGPT, it knows and remembers every word that it read. So that's a huge, huge difference. I'll say, and then I'm coming to you. So I will say that I'm not particularly an advocate for AI, but in the business world, if you don't jump into AI, you're done. I mean, you're going to have to learn how to leverage it.
I was just gonna say, I think there's different, and I haven't used the paid version yet, but right, the paid version is probably a lot better, right, with
Yep.
prompts and getting dialed in more. So yeah, I think that's, I know, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Have you guys experienced that? Like the paid version, right, is much better at kind of knowing the prompts and what you want? I don't know.
Not only does it know the prompts, it remembers what you said before.
Is that kind of, is that how you train? You know, there's a lot, like what is this training of AI? I know they talk a lot about that, kind of, that's what you're talking about, like remembering the prompts and like, people are buying like new computer like parts and stuff to train AI, right?
I don't know about computer parts, but what I do know is that if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever your choice is, you should just use that one. You're going to learn it, and it's going to learn you. So I have a friend who's into AI much, much deeper than what I will ever get into it. And she was talking to me a while ago and says, she does enough with ChatGPT that it knows the rhythm of her life. So she'll get a little message that says, shouldn't you be going here? Some of you may have experienced that.
We touched a little bit on government regulation. Do you feel like that's even possible? I mean, you look at history and you see how prohibition went and how it went to regulate the internet and, you know, all of these things. Do you think that's even possible? And if so, what do you think that looks like?
Yeah, in the current state is not possible. Would be my assertion. But this is why I'm talking to you guys right here, because you students are going to be in a position to where as AI moves into being a more business, function and not something that's new and changing every quarter. I mean, when you look at how much changed in the facts changed in the last 18 months, okay? So you can't regulate something as soon as you get the regulation down. The whole world has changed, not just a couple lines of code. And we had the same challenge with the internet back when it first came out. People wanted for it to be free for everyone. Anyone could do anything on it. And we found out that probably didn't work well. So it needed to have some regulations. I think it's coming, Jeannie, but it's going to have to slow down. The development's going to have to slow down enough so that the future regulators, future business leaders who are going to say to the government, you've got to get control of this on our behalf, because someone asked earlier, can't we just self-regulate? I think there's pretty good history in the past that says we're not really good at self-regulating, okay? And part of it's because people find ways to make money by taking advantage of other people.
So, one thing that's just kind of been rattling around in my mind as I'm thinking about it is, I think we sometimes forget that it really is just kind of an algorithm. There's not a person inside of it, right? It's a very advanced computer model. And I saw a recent study saying, how a lot of the models just completely fall to pieces when they have to do any sort of logical, critical thinking. So with that in mind, do you think we're kind of approaching the limits of what AI can do as far as that goes? And are there use cases for it outside of simply taking information that's already there and summarizing it, transforming it, making it available, but still, again, not doing deep critical thinking? Do you think we're kind of approaching the limit there? And have you seen any use cases that are beyond taking information that's already provided and transforming it?
So this is Brad Forbes speaking, and I told you at the beginning I don't have any answers. But I don't think we're approaching the limit. I think, and this is why I believe that the government's going to have to get involved. I think at some point that AI is going to think that it can do critical thinking. And so it's going to give you the illusion, based on all of its knowledge, some of it good knowledge and some of it not good knowledge, that it can be a critical thinker. And so that's where you can leverage, because you're going to have more information. So, and I'm coming to you right here. Matthew's taking the lead at Advent Source, but so we're talking to the guy that's helping us, his team develop this. And his name is George, and every time we meet with him, my mind sort of just explodes, because he's saying, well, we could make it do this, and I'm saying, well, no, that's what I do. I place the orders, and as I place the orders, I know that 2 years ago we had a camporee, so we sold more Pathfinder stuff 2 years ago than what we will next year, so I'm going to make that adjustment, okay? And George is saying to me, AI can just look at it. It'll know what camporee, it'll know every aberration you have, and that my successor is going to be able to just say, place me the order that I need. So.
I think the real problem there right now is we need to take ownership of what is uniquely human and what critical skills we have, because I believe AI will continue to masquerade as being smarter than it actually is.
Oh, yes.
And when you think an AI program, whatever it tells you, there's no accountability. They give you wrong advice, there's no accountability. And we have a number of court cases that have happened now where an AI program, such as Siri or Lexus, has actually talked someone into killing themselves.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And I think that's sort of the danger, is AI doesn't know its limitations. And so we have to do that. Can't rely on the government to do it. That's a whole other can of worms. But we have to take some ownership for it.
It doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have a conscience. Yes, sir. And then I'm coming to you.
What skills should students focus on now if AI is automating average performance?
So when I said I'm going to take us back here. So asking good questions. Okay, AI doesn't know the question that you want to have the answer to. Now, you can try to pull things out of there, but I think, asking good questions, developing good judgment, having a good sense of who you are and what your goals are going to help, because AI, in the broadest sense of the word, is not going to have your heart, your conscience, to your ethics in its interests. So, that help? Yes, sir.
I was just, I know AI is being used heavily in the military. They're probably 10 years ahead of business. And you see the mistakes, a few mistakes that have happened in Iran because of AI being used for all the targets. And they hit a school which was on an old military compound. So it's relying on just all the information it has. It does, and then from that, then they utilize all that information and they pick their targets. And that's why we have been so successful, is because of AI reviewing all the satellite images and going, it can scan satellite images faster than thousands of people.
Yeah, right. And so this is then how do we leverage that? So coming back to your question, Rico, so I'll just give you a personal piece here. So I'm going to retire next summer, and so I'm thinking about that more in these months than what I normally would have, right? So I have lots of questions. I've done some reading. So I just put into ChatGPT, I said, okay, so, talk to me about required minimum withdrawals. I mean, I know that it's there, but talk to me about that. And I even told it, so this is my age, and this is when I'm going to retire. And it came back to me and gave a very nice outline that said, so when you're 82, this is what it is. Well, I knew enough to know that was wrong. So I said to it, so, I was born in 1960. Shouldn't I be able to start taking minimum withdrawals when I'm 85 or 75? And it said, oh yeah, sorry. I made a mistake. It should be that, okay? So it had scanned through and it had found 72, which is true for a lot of people, but not for me, okay? So it's going to be very helpful, and it's going to give you bad information that if you don't know enough to know that it's bad, then you're going to be in trouble. One more observation.
I have a question. Did you use AI to create your presentation today?
Oh yes, of course. So yes, and a lot of talking points, because we're into it at AdventSource in just a little bit. So I'm not into the world of education. I'm not in the world of the military. I'm not into, but AI, as I looked at this, AI is impacting absolutely every area that is impacting us right now. So for some of us, I'm going to be on the tail end of AI in retirement. I'm going to use AI to sing me a song or do something. But for you, and particularly as AI grows up, okay, I want for you students to really engage, not only personally, but also, I think that there is going to have to be regulation, but the regulation starts with you, okay? You are going to need to have the right underpinning of who you are, your ethics, your Christian view of the world, to say, this is how I'm going to use it, this is how my business is going to use it, and then as you have influence, you're going to be able to vote for people, and to be able to cast your own vote, or maybe be in the legislature that casts the vote to say, so we need to be able to make sure that this is good for us, that AI is good, and that it's not creating more problems than it's creating solutions. So, all right, thank you. I'll be around for a while. If you want to give me any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them with more questions.